Hello and welcome to another anime lore and theory video. I'm Shergog, your host, and today we are going to take a closer look at whether or not we will see a thus far unseen side of one of the most popular Overlord characters out there, of Lupusregina Beta. And why I find this idea very interesting. But before we're going to take a closer look at any of this, let me quickly thank my Patreons for supporting this channel, as well as say thanks to all users of the YouTube thanks function for making one-time donations. And with that said, let's get to the topic at hand. Lupusregina is pretty much the most popular of the Pleiades from Overlord. And it's not surprising, she has a great character design, isn't just there as a background character, but has an actual personality, presence, and a certain cruelty that many fans appreciate and love. But Lupusregina has another side, and for that I need to explain a bit more. Many of the beings in the Great Tomb look somewhat human, and are only recognizable as non-humans upon closer inspection. For example, from a distance you wouldn't know that Shizu Delta is a robot, or more accurately, an automaton, or that the choker Yuri Alpha wears is there to keep her head on her shoulders, because it's not attached. She's a Dullahan after all. And Nabral and Solution, as a greater doppelganger and a slime girl, are also practically indistinguishable from humans. Sebastian, while appearing like a human butler, is actually a draconian, a dragon in human form. All these beings have one thing in common. In their human forms, they are weaker than they would normally be, but in their true forms, they are stronger. Or in Nabral's case, just as strong, since she only has disadvantages in her doppelganger form. And this applies to Lupusregina Beta as well, since she is actually a werewolf. Her name also means Wolf Queen in Latin, and she also has both a human and a true form, and her wolf ears hint at her lycanthrope nature. And this raises the question, what does her true form look like? How strong is she in that form? And might it come with some disadvantages? And of course, will we ever get to see it? And let's start with the status aspect. We don't have any official artwork that shows Lupusregina in her werewolf form, so the question of what she looks like in that form is currently unanswerable. Personally, I hope her fiery red hair would give us a wolf-resembling Radagon. And I also love the idea of Lupusregina fighting with her scepter and her wolf mouth, similar to the great grey wolf Thief in Dark Souls. And what we do know is that in her wolf form, she will be significantly stronger than in her human form, as her status penalties will be lifted and she will receive bonuses in her wolf form. In other words, she likely will be about as strong as Nabral Gamma. Moving on to the general strength and weaknesses of the lycanthropes, which of course also applies to Lupusregina as well. As a werewolf, she's not immune to metal weapons like swords or spears. However, as long as these weapons are made of materials like steel, gold, iron, bronze or copper, the damage she would take, like any other lycanthrope, will be reduced. On the other hand, it's worth mentioning that the damage from silver weapons is greatly increased. And this also applies to different reasons. And fun fact, this also applies for different reasons to Sheltier Bloodfallen and other vampires. In other words, as long as Lupusregina doesn't encounter specialized anti-werewolf weapons, she is generally well protected against metal attacks. Of course, I should also mention that swords like the God-slaying Emperor Blade or the Takemika Sushi Mark 8 would deal enormous damage to Lupusregina regardless of this resistance, simply because they are so much stronger than the Pleiades and her typical equipment, even though she herself has relatively good gear. Especially if this weapon is wielded by someone like Ein Soul Gone. However, her werewolf nature has another effect on her. Lupusregina is subject to a biorhythm, aligned with the phases of the moon, which means her mood is actually influenced by the moon. And because of this, during a full moon, when lycanthropes typically transform, albeit unwillingly in most stories, into werewolves, Lupusregina, while still maintaining control of her own self and her own form, becomes even more sinister and vile and vicious than her sister Solution Epsilon, who isn't exactly known for her gentleness or child-friendly ways, if you know what I mean. And this also raises the question of whether or not there are any hints in the anime and the novels that Lupusregina might eventually need to fight seriously, or if we might ever get to see her werewolf form in action. And I should add that Overlord is known for foreshadowing and referencing other plot points well in advance, that become relevant much later, sometimes even getting their own books. For example, the existence of the frost dragon Olasir Dark Halil, mentioned by Ninya, as described in her notebook in the second volume, only appeared a full 9 volumes later. Similarly, during the battle, well, battle isn't quite the right word, when Lupusregina had her fun with the Crown Prince Barbaro, it was at least a full moon in the anime, and night in the books, so there's a chance that this could lead to something very interesting eventually, and that this is in fact foreshadowing for the actual fight that she will have. And I also think that we are due to see a battle between the Pleiades and one of Slane's scriptures, or perhaps even against the Black Scripture, where the entire team, from Yuri to Entoma, might fight together. And that would be exciting, as a fight against those opponents would likely be quite evenly matched. So I'm hoping my theory is correct and that in the books we will get to see the Pleiades in full action again. And with that said, please check out my German channel, my fantasy channel, and if you don't want to listen to my voice or accent, but are still interested in the things I have to say, I have made an AI channel, narrated by almost a woman, where I use AI voiceovers for my videos. And the channels are all linked down in the video description. Also, please check out my Patreon if you want to support me beyond just leaving a like or sub. And with that said, I say thank you very much for watching, thanks to my Patreons for supporting this channel, and special thanks to Ada Daddy Ada, ASK, Bad Guy Ye, Bad Burrito 316, Bezer, Ben C, Brandon D, Chrissy, Crowley 0221, Sia, Crystal Prime, Dead Slime, Death is Mercy, Deathless Dragonlord, Demon Xenomorph 1987, Devin Downen, Ding Dong, Dan Pep, Dragonlord Placido Saxophone, Duckwagon, Dunkler Krieger, Dystopia, Dystopia II, Enigmatic Unicorn, Feral Shivan, Guy with That Head, Hector Marino, Hoss, Huster, Jacob G, Jana B, Jason, J. Morris, Chromius, Kyle R, Lee K. Long, Legendarius, Lelouch V. Britannia with a Mustache, Lexus Fox, Lord Nishikian Rai, Lord Touch Me, Lofrazer, Merovec, Mr. Shoes, Mr. Tweaker, Michael R, Michael Y, Nope, Oh Hell No, Normal Toad, O'Kill, Overlord General Gasper, Paddy Pantum, Personage, Ruru, Primus 11, Rhinomere, Kune Caracos P, Shergox's Daddy, Shadow Lightning Wolf, Shrine Keeper, Sir Axolotl, Super Tier Magic Batista Bomb, Supreme Cheese, Staris, Ted, Texas Deer, The Orc Warboss, Rock Ed Smasher, T.E. Wang, Vash Hawkeye, Vegito 27, Venture Fanatic, Wilhelm, Zinukai, and Sonagon. Thanks guys. Anyway, have a nice day, and I hope to see you all again soon on my next video.